In 3, 2.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Prompt Us podcast. I am your host, Gabriel Conti, and I am here ready to learn with you and grow with you today. And I am here, this is the correct part that I'm going to say now because I kind of messed up the intro. I am here with my co-hosts, Chad and Zach, on the other side of the pond / globe.
Zach, I'm noticing that you're wearing a pretty cool sweater.
I am, bro. I'm wearing some Belong merch.
Oh my gosh, wait, you
guys are
and
wearing some nice sweaters.
This is Sebastian Gomez.
His podcast, and I.
Oh my god,
that's my merch.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my, friends helping friends. Iron sharpening iron.
It's the setup, baby.
It's the final countdown.
And by ironing, sharpening iron.
Ooh.
The prompt.
Bank accounts
Zach.
helping bank accounts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which also leads to the prompt, actually.
Yeah. I thought I sent that for free.
That's true.
It cost me money.
Yeah. Cool.
Zach, hit him with the prompt.
All right, boys. All right, today's prompt, before I jump in, don't forget, submit your prompts, promptuspodcast.com. All right, so today's prompt is from Tash, all the way on my side of the world, Sunshine Coast. Let's go. It's really nice up there. You guys been to Sunshine Coast real quick?
I got married there, bro.
You did?
Oh, yeah,
You got good photos.
Yeah, dude. I got
that's a
married
fact,
there.
dude.
Like,
Anyway,
not on the coast, though. Like, a little west in the hills.
In the bush?
In the hills. A little bit in the bush,
in
yeah.
the hinterlands, they call that.
Oh.
In the hinterlands. Oh, that's
Mm.
British.
In the
Sorry.
sunny coast hinterlands.
Oh.
The sunny. That was good.
Yeah, bro, whatever. I'm out here. I was in Australia for like 3 months, all right? Chill.
Was Zach talking just then, or was Gabe
Gabe.
talking?
Or was
just
that
then? Who
Gabe?
knows?
Was that Zach talking or just Gabe?
It's almost like that meme where I see no difference. They're the same. You're the office meme with Pam, whatever. Okay.
Yes.
Zach, tell him the
Hilarious.
prompt.
I got you. All right. So Tash brought up 2 great prompts. So I think we should try and combine them. And by me thinking we should combine them, I mean we made the decision to combine them. Their first prompt was side hustles. What are good side hustles? What's a good side hustle to have? I don't really know, but we're going to give that one a crack.
Please.
And the second one was
If there's
and the
someone to
second one
answer
was
that, it's
about-
Zach.
Yeah.
dude, it's just going to be 40 minutes of me talking about all the side hustles that didn't work. And then the second half, or the second prompt that Tash sent through was about saving. So let's try and combine them because I think
Saving
the
yourself
whole
for
point of a
marriage
side
or
hustle
what? Saving what?
What's that?
Well, it's saving. What kind of saving? Saving
kind of
yourself
saving?
for marriage.
I see.
Saving up.
That would be a weird side hustle, and waiting till marriage is definitely 2 topics I don't know. Maybe they do.
Saving the world.
Waiting till marriage is a full-time hustle, by the way. It's not a side hustle.
It's not a side
That's a 100% full-time job
Yeah.
on steroids.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident Tash was talking about saving more money.
Yes.
So, look, let's try and combine them because I feel like most people who want to have a side hustle are trying to generate more revenue. And I think there's not a lot of point generating more revenue if you're just spending all of it. I think investing it, saving it is probably a good shout. So, boys, what's some good side hustles?
Well,
Let's
how
just
about
have
we
a
go
do it.
around and talk about ones that haven't worked for us?
True. All right. Did you want to start with
You
that?
can't start with me, fam. You guys start.
I love that Zach immediately, he's just like uncomfortable. Like it's like the bead of sweat, just one drip.
This ain't on me, bro.
So I guess before we talk about like specific side hustles, it's kind of, we have to come down to terms with like, how much time do we have for this side hustle? And is it going to actually have a return? Because there's been things that I think all 3 of us have started that while we think it's a good idea, we already have a lot of side going on. You know what I mean? So like
A lot of commitment.
there's a lot of commitments. And so while I think this was like a good idea, I don't think it was a healthy thing because now it's impacting all the other things I have going, you know, all the little side, you know, projects or hustles or whatever. Now they're impacting my main hustle, my main project. And so I think it's important to kind of know, well, how much time do you have? Because as you're choosing a side hustle, obviously going to yard sales on a Saturday morning and trying to flip them on Facebook Marketplace is a lot easier time-wise than, you know, daily vlogging, Zach.
Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe that's what the vlogs are about. Maybe I need to just vlog side hustles. That's pretty good.
Oh my gosh, just like
That's
Mike Rowe from
pretty
Dirty
good.
Jobs, but you do like
Dude,
side jobs.
I could do that. Dude, side jobs.
Okay, business
Bro.
meeting right now.
Yeah.
Strategy.
We all
Guys,
scoot up.
pause.
Everybody
Bring it in.
Fix your posture.
Oh gosh, it made me think of that
But yeah.
meme where like the guy, he's doing something, he's losing the video game, then whenever he starts losing, he sits up to take it
Leans
seriously. You
forward.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all just sat
So
up
good.
with that
Gosh.
idea.
Where were we?
Well, I can jump in with some side hustles real quick because I did the garage sale thing a lot.
You did?
Actually, my boy Adam and I would go around all the time. My big one that I would do is try and find old camera lenses. And then what I would do is buy bulk adapters on Amazon. So they were like 30 cents each. And so I would sell. So say the camera lens, I bought it for $20. I would sell it for $30. But because I include a Canon adapter, I would charge another $30.
Oh my gosh.
No way.
The art of the markup.
So like, because I went out of the way to get that adapter and people bought them all the time. But it was a hustle. Like taking nice photos of lenses is like a weird like part of the process. And also just like talking to photographers, like no shade on photographers, but you guys stress me out.
Mhm.
It is like all about the sharpness. Like, guys, what's going on? But yeah, so that was kind of one of the ones, like literally that example that you used, Chad, where like it was easy to go do, but it's a really slow return. And I think you got to think about why you're doing the side hustle. Is it because it's just a blast? Because the great thing about money is that if we treat it like a resource, just like time and energy, money can be something that's really fun to make. And it should be something that's really fun to make. It should be really fun to make money. So, hey, I'm going to, like Chelsea right now, my wife. I say my wife, Chelsea, as if people don't know it already, but if it's your first time, welcome back to Prompters Podcast.
Subscribe.
My wife is Chelsea. But right now, she's been like buying jars and then making them like terracotta
Oh, dope.
like pots and jars. And it's just like, she just loves it. And I'm like, babe, you could freaking scale it, put it in a nice box with some nice branding. And like people would pay heaps for that. And she's like, I just like painting. I'm like, that's probably fair enough. Like that's okay too, you know? So it's not a side hustle for her, but it could turn into a side hustle. So I think really thinking about why have the side hustle? Is it fully because of a monetary thing, or is it because it's just a blast?
Well,
and I think it's important because that would change the way you approach it.
That goes into the whole savings things too, right? Because when I was thinking about this before, this topic specifically before we recorded the podcast, I was thinking like saving money. If you need to like make more money to save, there's so many different factors that could play into that. Like, how much do you need to save? How much more money do you need to make? What money do you make already? Like, where are you at in life? That like, what is your financial obligation at the moment? And if literally you don't have a good job, maybe it's just get a better job, and you don't need to actually add a side hustle. You just need to actually get a new job. You know what I mean?
Improve the baseline.
Or you're in a job that you're loving and you want to stay there. Then maybe add the side hustle if you have the time, or if you're in school. Like technically I was in school full time when I was in school, you know, I was getting my acting degree, and my side hustle was doing social media stuff, you know,
Totally.
and I was obviously able to scale that side hustle to be my full-time thing, which I've been doing for almost a decade.
Blows my mind.
Crazy, bro.
8
Wow.
years
It's
I've been
wild.
doing freaking social media.
Wow.
Makes me feel like, I don't know. It's like cool. I'm like, oh,
Graham Arnold,
I'm
man.
seasoned, and I'm also like, oh my gosh, I'm not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah. No.
Anyway,
Dude,
yeah, just like
well, there was something that
really,
you said.
you go.
Oh, I was just going to jump in real quick because I think it's important to note. Like, there was something you said to me a few years ago when I was struggling with all my debt and my money stuff, and I'm sure I've said this in the podcast before, but it was like, bro, it is always about the percentages. It doesn't matter how much money is coming in, coming out. It's about the percent and what you're using every dollar for. I was like, whoa, that changed literally the game for me, because it made me realize that if I made $1 million tomorrow, my problems would still be the same. So starting a side hustle with the intention to make $1 million tomorrow is actually distracting me from getting other things in order. So I just wanted to say that because you reminded me of that when you're talking about, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, biblically, it's all percentages too. Like when you hear about finances, or like giving 10%, right? Tithe. It doesn't matter if you make $10 or $10 million.
Yeah.
Like the 10% is 10%, and
He who is good with a little will be good with a lot.
yeah, and it's and
Yeah,
and you
that's good.
think, but then you think like if you're not making a lot and being generous and stuff, it's like, oh, I don't make, and this, I guess this isn't really exactly what the topic is, but I think it's important. If you're not making a lot, you're like, oh, what is my, you know, I only make, maybe you're a college student, you make like $5,000 a year off of like your
Mhm.
part-time job somewhere, or so, I don't
Yeah.
know, whatever. And you're like, oh, me 10% of my like weekly paycheck, I can't, like, it's not really contributing anything. And also I can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
You're already practicing the habits that are going to make you not generous and stingy with your money down the line, even though you're not making a lot, and maybe technically you're not stingy because you're not making a lot, but you're putting in the habits and practice
Mhm.
to when you start making more money, you are going
Yeah.
to be what you're creating for yourself, essentially.
Yeah.
Where if you're like, you know what, I'm going to operate in those percentages. And that's what Jess and I have. And we work with my brother who like helps us with our finances and everything. But I made a full like flow chart of like where the money comes in. It goes into our the business bank account.
Yeah.
We make, you know, the business makes this, then gets paid out to us, certain percentage. The percentage then gets split 10% here, like for tithe. This percentage goes to savings, and it doesn't matter, you know, what we make that month. Some months we're able to make 5 times the amount that we made the month before, but the percentages still stack up the way they do, and the percentages go into each bucket.
Yeah.
And it just makes it easy. So if you're able to figure out what your, I guess, what your living expenses are and all of that, kind of create a budget and a plan of like, this is how much I need to make to survive.
Yes.
And that amount, and then you align that with like how much you're making and formulate a plan like, oh, I only make enough to survive. I am not making enough to actually plan ahead. I either need to add that side hustle if I do want to save, or I need to get a new job that pays me more so I can actually advance.
Or to change your lifestyle.
Yeah, change your lifestyle and scale back. Yeah, that's a third one.
Yeah. It makes me think of Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is a book that I think has changed so many people's lives. It changed mine. And so if you're listening to this and you're looking for a very entry level finance book on how to take control of your finances and how to understand, this is going to sound very vague, but like, or very cliche, what the rich teach their kids, this is a great book for you. And so there's this whole mentality inside the book, which is pay yourself first. And the idea is that what happens when people get paid is they will pay their mortgage or rent, okay? Then they pay their insurances, then they pay their car payment, then they pay their groceries, then they pay their utilities, then they pay off their groceries. And then with what's left over, they will either save or have fun with.
Whoops. That's my alarm. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So people will either...
I'm really sorry.
Are you?
I'm so sorry, Chad.
you have like 6 more interruptions before we're equal.
Yeah, true.
So
from last podcast.
Yeah, from last podcast.
I'm good.
So you're still playing with house money.
Yeah.
Dude. So basically with what people at the very end of their check, they either save if they have any money left over, or they spend it on doing something fun. But what he's saying is, no, whose happiness matters more, your happiness or your bill collector's happiness? So he said you should write yourself a check the first of each month for Chad wants a new car, or Tori wants a vacation, or Zach wants a new music studio, right? And so you write yourself a check, and then at the end of that like paycheck, if you don't have enough money to add in that check for you at the beginning,
To what? To add.
oh my gosh, oh my gosh,
I was
awesome.
so waiting for it for so long.
You have to.
Oh my
Could you tell
gosh.
I was like waiting for a
That is
spot?
awesome.
Oh yeah, like 10 minutes ago, I was like, Gabe's about to drop it.
He's been waiting for it this whole time. Well, okay, so I
Now that
sorry,
we're back, everyone.
I meant a different ad than the ad that Gabe meant.
Like add and subtract.
yes, that's what I meant.
Not-
So to recap on that, so if you've paid yourself first and you pay all your other stuff as you go throughout using that check, if you don't have enough money, you either A, find a way to make more money, aka side hustles, or B, you start cutting fat. Right? You cancel your Netflixes, you start cooking and meal prepping at home, you start doing things to save you more money. And I just love the idea that putting what you want first, putting that first is really important, because if you put it last, you're always going to put it off. And so as someone develops the idea of potentially having a side hustle, it's back to Zach's original question, which is, well, what do you want? Why do you want a side hustle? Is it because you want to pursue a creative outlet? Like there's so many people crushing Etsy, right? Just crushing the Etsy game. Like Chelsea would probably crush it. I don't know if she's on Etsy or not, but there's so many creative people that if they
she's just happy painting.
Yeah, if they would monetize their creativity in a healthy way. Now, granted, we're not saying go out there and ruin something that brings you joy, but we're letting you know that you could potentially do it more full time, because to paint you a really, in my opinion, a beautiful picture, my wife and I started YouTube as something on the side. It was something that we love encouraging people, we love communicating with people, and we love talking about God. Well, we were doing that all in our Instagram DMs, and people were asking the same questions. So we were like, well, what if we recorded a video and posted it on YouTube? And then whenever someone asks us a question like, hey, here's that YouTube video that we already recorded on the topic that you're asking about. And then now it's our full-time job. And so we're still balancing that, you know, something that we love and now monetizing it and like making money off of it, right? And so there's definitely like a healthy balance, because I think you've said to me one time, Gabe, that if you can monetize anything, you'll monetize everything. And it's a guard. You need to have a guardrail for that.
That's what I have literally. That's what I've done. And then, and I've talked about it with like Formula One. That is like the first. It always comes around to Formula One, really. But that that was like the first thing in a long time that I wasn't monetizing myself, because any passion that I had, I was like, I can monetize this. Yeah. And then I would. Where even when Formula One started happening, when I started getting into Formula One, it was, I don't know, you kind of have the thought like, ooh, maybe I can like play the video games and start streaming it and stuff like that, which is fun. You
or
know,
I get sponsored to go to a race.
Or like try and make it into a thing where it's like becomes part of my job. Then I've just taken a hobby and turned it into like a form of work.
Yeah. A blessing got turned into a burden.
Yeah, yeah. And not that work is a burden specifically, but there are things that do need to stay in the vertical of like, this is strictly just hobby. I enjoy it. It's for entertainment, whatever. It's for me to switch off and focus on this when I'm to not focus on work. Because so many things, like passionate about acting, check, that's work. Passionate about music, check, that's work. Passionate about filmmaking, check, that's work.
Podcast.
Passionate about talking with my friends, check, that's work. You know what I mean? Like, all of the boxes are checked for like what is now considered work, and finding the line of like, do you actually, which is great that Chelsea's just like, no, I just want to paint my little pots, and that's dope for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I really admire that, because I remember one time Tori called me out in a good way, where we were at our old apartment in Los Angeles. And I feel like if I were like an Instagram guy where like I actually posted super aesthetic stuff, I would crush it, because Tori,
my freaking guy, the confidence level is out of this world.
I'll tell you why. I went and bought a vintage orange juice squeezer, and then I bought like a sack of these organic oranges from this kid's charity or whatever. Then I cut them all perfectly down the middle, and then I laid them out on the counter, and I'm hand squeezing these because I wanted hand squeeze orange juice. And Tori walks out in the morning.
That's the most Chad thing I've ever heard in my life.
And then Tori walks out. She's like, babe, why are you not filming this? This is so like aesthetically satisfying. It's like, you know, these like videos people watch where it's just, wow, I can't stop watching this because I love the process that's happening here. I'm like, I just wanted hand squeeze orange juice, so I'm doing, this is for me. This is for Papa. Yeah. Right? You know,
this one's for Daddy.
But it's a thing where you do really have to be careful, because, you know, some people do need to keep their creative stuff, just their creative stuff, because it's a source of inspiration for every other area of their life. Right. And so there's definitely a tightrope where if you are wondering, should you monetize something, I would connect with people who are doing something similar. Like, I know this sounds like a weird long shot, but imagine that you do really cool, what's it called when you do like handwriting stuff?
Calligraphy.
Yeah, if you do calligraphy, that stuff sells like hotcakes on Etsy. Message a shop owner. Say, hey, I love what you do. Have you ever struggled with like monetizing off something that you are just so naturally talented at, and it's just a form of art? And like, you know, that's just one example, but reach out to people in that same space to ask them, has this been difficult for you to transition this into a business?
Yeah. And dude, I want to hear Zach, you talk about stuff specifically, especially like even now. I would love for you to break down all of your different verticals that are work for you right now. Cause you do have so many that like, technically they're all still side hustles because none
Can
of
you
them are
explain
like
what a vertical is?
your different like lanes, I guess, or your different buckets that you're making money from.
Yeah, buckets.
You know what I mean? Like your different
Streams.
streams of revenue, a vertical. Yeah. So what are those things, and kind of like the story of those things and how they all fit in, how you got to the point where you could actually generate revenue from them?
Yeah, I mean, first off, my main income stream is my wife. And
I love that. I was so ready for something so serious, even though it kind of is. But like, I just love.
So good. Oh my gosh, we all love a bread-winning wife, don't we?
Yes.
Dude, let's
Literally,
go,
I'm
though,
sitting here
legit.
like pimping out my office from like Amazon stuff, and I'm just like, oh yeah, Jess's brand deal money came in.
Yep.
Sick. Payday for me.
Legit, though. Oh my gosh. No, but I mean, all right, let me try and break this down. It's funny because I think I'm at the first time in a long time, my side hustles actually have become kind of main things, like main kind of an actual little bit of a business structure, which is super exciting. And so, yeah, okay, at the moment, what am I working on? So I do a lot of editing at the moment, which has been, I guess, it's crazy. I would say this podcast got me back into editing again, which is so dope. And so like looking back, it's like, oh, wow, I edit this every week. I could probably use this skill set, help out some friends. So it helped out with Tori and Chad, which is awesome. I still work with those guys. And then it just
Yeah,
kind of
those
built
random
me down. I
guys,
have a few clients.
those people, wherever they
Yeah.
are.
You guys might know him, Chad Masters. You might know him.
Yeah. What a
but
douche.
yeah, and I love that because it's like, what'd you say?
He called me a douche.
I was like, yeah, what a douche.
No,
It's
dude,
payback for
coming in
last
hot.
episode.
Oh
Legit,
my gosh.
legit. But there was a point, and I've actually had to back up on this. So I'm glad we're talking about this because I can use this as an example of too many side hustles. But there was a point where in 1 week I would do client work, edit. I'd work a day at my church. I would write and record and sing for. Oh, you
No. Tell people what client work edit means. That's editing YouTube videos for 3 different YouTube channels, multiple videos a week.
Yes, but then also client work like web development stuff, so just like designing websites for people who need it, or like just any kind of design work. I used to do heaps of stuff with Grace Coffee back in the day, which is super cute, and I was like, that was such a blast. I remember doing all that stuff. That was a side hustle, legit. It was like, just tell me what you need, bro. You know? And so, but I would also in my week would be, yeah, my week is so messy, but it's refining, which is good. But yeah, so editing, client work, like doing website stuff, music stuff. I would write songs and record and send them off to DJs, like heaps of random European DJs. That was like a main income stream for a long time. My own stuff, like royalties from my own music. And then I added in my YouTube channel and I was like, okay, I really am having, my YouTube channel was just so much fun that I'm like, I have to get rid of something here because this is just going to burn me out super quick. And it did. And that's kind of what happened with my music stuff. And I think the point of me sharing all this is that it's really good to have multiple income streams. It's really dangerous to not be focused on a few things. You being a jack of all trades, which is a Zach of all trades. Let's go.
Oh my
Being a
god.
Zach of all trades
This guy,
is
the tech guy.
is super fun. Yeah, the tech guy. That's my sixth side hustle.
it back.
We need to get him a shirt.
Oh my
You had to bring it
gosh,
back,
that would be
bro.
so funny.
You know National Treasure? You know how
Yep.
you remember National Treasure and like Nicolas Cage and then the other guy, Riley, and he's like in
Riley.
the bathroom? That's me right now. I'm in the bathroom just like I've got my phone stuck to the wall and I'm just like coding right now. But do you get the reference?
Yeah, dude. National Treasure was my jam.
Was the best, dude. But yeah, I guess the point of me saying all these things is that there can be a lot of success in pivoting quickly, but there can also be a lot of emotional stress from not refining one craft. And so right now, my main focus is communication because the podcast was a side hustle for a big, like it still is technically in the sense of like just another kind of thing that I get to work on. I'm definitely more passionate about the podcast than I am, I guess, about web development, to be honest. Like, but yeah, the more that you add to your plate, the less kind of you're going to feel like you can invest into something. So I don't know, if you're thinking about doing side hustles, like just take your whole life into account. Don't just be like, well, I work 9 to 5 and then I've got all this time. It's like, yeah, but you also have a family and you also have to cook or you have to clean these things are actually really important because there's been many a times, and I still carry a bit of guilt, to be honest, about it all, where I've been so overwhelmed by so many different things that I'm so sorry. I've been so overwhelmed by so many different things that I've been doing that I've just like neglected my wife or not taken my dog for a walk, you know? And those things are so much more important still than the side hustle. But I think when you maybe in a situation like me where you've been just trying to pay off debt, or you're looking for cash, or whatever it is, you're just trying to like pay rent, the side hustle feels like it's the most important thing ever. But really at the end of the day, like there are a lot of more important things. And that's a brutal thing that I've had to learn. And just working out your baseline. This is where we can tie it back into the savings thing. If you're trying to start a side hustle with debt, you're going to have a really, really hard time. Like a really, really hard time, brutally, because every dollar that comes in isn't yours. You got to pay that back to someone. That's somebody else's dollar. So you can't reinvest into what you're hustling into that side hustle. Yeah. So I don't know, if you think about starting a side hustle, just make sure that, you've got your finances in order. Have some savings. The best feeling, like I just bought this new camera. I've been talking about a billion times all over the place. I bought this new camera. It comes today. I'm just jacked about it, right? But I was able to buy that camera. Like that was, I'm not buying that out of guilt of like, oh, that's it. And so it's like, okay, this is my camera to reinvest in right now, my hustle, which is just making daily videos because I just friggin' love it. Like, and that's where the joy of a side hustle is so important, where it's like, why are you doing it? Do you just love it? Then great. If it makes money, don't. Cool. But like in the meantime, refine and get better at it. And if you've got 12 different side hustles and you're wondering why none of them are working, it's because you've got 12 different side hustles.
Yeah, it's hard to add all those together. Or to add.
Break.
Gabe's face throws Chad off every time. Chad's like, did I get it right? And Gabe's just like,
It's like that dog, it's like that dog meme where like the husky's like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Dude, what were you just talking about though? Oh, all the different side hustles. Okay.
Yes.
All right, guys, welcome back. Apologize for that. We just have to, it has to be a joke every time or else.
Feels funny.
I know. It just feels like it doesn't work. You know? Just doesn't add up.
Oh my God. He puts another one.
Another one, right?
Runs another
No. Anyway, Zach, you were just talking about having like, if you have 12 side hustles, none of them are going to work because you have 12 side hustles, which is something that I've been working on myself on how to simplify all of these different verticals that I have. Word vertical again. Baby. And essentialism, dude. You freaking put me on that book. I know, game over. My life is changing everything. And then you talked about in the podcast at the beginning of the podcast, what was it? It was like in the same vein about frick me.
Sorry.
No. Oh, what was it? I literally had it too. Anyway, I don't remember, so that's cool. What I was going to say was me simplifying my side hustles per se is that I've been going through the process of like, oh, what you said was you're adding, that's what it was. Wow. There we go.
So do you want to come back from the...
What a roller
No,
coaster.
just let it roll. Zach will edit it together. We got the tech guy on blast. Before, let me say it before I forget, that it takes away, you add the side hustle, don't let it take away from your main hustle. That's what you said. And that's what I've experienced for so long. Like my main hustle was like obviously making the YouTube videos and like doing that whole thing, like making content. And I added so many things and I would be so passionate about them and then would get so involved with them that it took away from the main thing. And it was, especially with what you do as a content creator, it kind of like you have this career path that all of a sudden opens up this like magical book of opportunity that you can do anything and turn it into a revenue stream.
Yeah.
You can sell any product. You could do whatever you want and turn it into a revenue stream because you have a built-in audience there to buy it or watch it or whatever.
Yeah.
So that happens. We're doing well on social media. I go, you know, we're selling merch and I'm like, I'm going to turn this into a clothing brand. And instead of doing what the smart thing would have been, which I'm kind of realizing now is like bringing on a company to fully help me run that on the side. And I can make like big picture top down decisions on like vision and what I want for it. But I'm still doing my day to day while still kind of allowing this team that has come on to help me run this thing. I just wanted to get so involved because I got so passionate about like clothing, design, fashion, all these things that I loved. And it took up so much of my time. And now like I'm in this transition phase with New Earth and everything of like getting it to this point where there's a team built around me to help run this amazing clothing brand that still enables me to focus on what I need to focus on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the same thing happened. I don't know. It's with so many things. Like that happens with if I'm ever auditioning too much with acting, because like, I don't know, maybe I watched a movie recently where I'm like, man, I wish I was in that. I need to take more auditions.
Yeah.
And I just start taking a ton more auditions. And it's like, wait, chill. You can take auditions like at a more reasonable pace because you have this content creator job of like making the videos with your wife and doing this thing, and don't 100% divert your attention to like these other side hustles that are, and it is very tough when the opportunity is there that you know it can kind of be successful because it just can be right away.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that's my experience.
No, it's good. That's a good example of like trying to focus in, trying to hone in on what you've already built. Because that's the other thing is I forget that I've built this thing that works, and then one day I'll just ditch it for the next side hustle. That's not a side hustle. That's distraction.
Yeah. Oh.
You know?
Yeah. Flipping, throw that one on Reels. Put that on TikTok, baby.
Yeah, I think that's something important to really look out for. Is it's easy for us to make ourselves busy and thinking that something is actually getting traction, it's working well, it's doing what we want it to do, but it's just a form of us staying busy. It's almost like, have you guys ever like had something really important to do? Like I'll just use this example. Like you needed to get some work done for one of your managers or boss or whatever, right? And then you're like, well, I'm going to clean my room real quick. Well, wait, I got to go take out the trash. Oh, I have to pick up something that just I saw.
Bro.
Oh, I'm gonna unload the dishwasher. You know,
the never-ending to-do list of distractions.
Yes. And so don't let your side hustle become that. And I think that's what you both were just saying is don't let your side hustle become a distraction to you as a way from you to hide from the big hustle you have going on. Because
that's right.
You know, if you need your side hustle to help you cope with your big hustle, why are you doing the big hustle? You know, and and I love what Zach was saying earlier in terms of like realizing that if you start this thing if you start a side hustle with debt, that was probably the most powerful thing I've learned from both of you this whole episode was like starting things with debt, because
from both he said it.
But I'm saying like from this episode, sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tie it into you now.
Yeah,
so
I'll take the compliment.
You have to receive it now because I'm about to apply it to you.
Hit me with it, baby.
So do you remember our conversation at Whole Foods a few years ago?
Oh yeah.
I asked Gabe, I was like, hey, I want to create an exit plan for modeling, because modeling was my main hustle, but it really wasn't doing what it wasn't giving me that intrinsic satisfaction and fulfillment. You know, I mean, I'm thankful for it. Allow me to travel.
If you couldn't tell, this guy's a model right here. If you're watching on YouTube, you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome for that.
You're welcome.
Oh gosh. And I asked Gabe to help me come up with like an exit plan to get out of modeling, but I kept. So basically, what was happening is
the exit plan wasn't exit right away.
No, it was like an 8-month plan. And so modeling was about 80 to 90% of my income, with social media being around 10 to 20%. And I slowly started making modeling 70%, now social media 30. And modeling 50%, now social media 50. And it was a real, it was a really difficult give and take, to where I had this conversation with my friend Kellen, who, you know, of guys that I really look up to, I've learned from, there's something that you did, Gabe, that really impacted me, and something that Kellen did that really impacted me. It was your story with Grace Coffee, which we don't need to get into right now. But Kellen did something where he made a decision within his main hustle that was better for his family, that was better for like his ethos, his ethics, his morality, right? He made a decision that was really important, that for anyone on the outside looking in, you're like, wait, what? You did what? You know, you stopped, you I don't know if, I mean, Zach, I'll tell you if you can't say this, I'll text Kellen about it. He left the show, 20-something episodes a season, series regular, right? He left it. This is better for his family. And I'm just like, wow. Anyone who's an actor would, you know, they would kill to be on that show, to be in that position. But he had a bigger picture in mind. He kept this bigger picture in mind. And I love that. And I admire it so much that you can't do everything. You can't be everything to everyone. You have to pick and choose wisely. And so for me personally, as I'm deciding whether something's going to be a side hustle or not, I ask myself that question Zach started with, well, why do you have it? Is it just because I want to make more money? Well, why don't I try to find a career that can help me make more money? You know?
Yeah.
Or am I in it because I want my creative juices to be flowing and I want to feel passionate about what I'm doing? Then absolutely, that's something you should check into. You should talk to people who are in that same vein and start trying to do well with it. But if you have capital at the beginning, you can invest into it. Because I'm going back to what I was saying previously. I had a conversation with Kellen about YouTube. And Tori and I were having, YouTube was causing issues in our marriage. And we were like, we need to find an editor. Well, Kellen's like, well, how much does it cost to hire an editor? I'm like, well, probably in this ballpark. This is what I've heard from some of my friends. And he's like, well, can you afford to hire an editor for 3 months and invest in it? And I was like, well, when you put it that way, yeah, I can do that. Insert Zach. and now, you know, and it's one of those things where it was a worthy investment, but I had capital at the beginning to try. But if I were operating, if I were chasing a creative side hustle to fill the need of money, that would be terrible. Can you imagine doing that? That would be so difficult to do. And so for me personally, it really helps that if your side hustle is going to be about creativity, then you really need it to be funded by your main hustle. You can't try to fund a creative side hustle on its own. You need to be able to invest into it.
And I think you should always have a plan as well. Like that may be where we should end, is like really structuring a solid plan of actionable steps that are you can track each step. You know what I mean? Like, say you don't like the job that you're at and you're trying to save money, so you want to start a side hustle. It's like, okay, well, how long am I going, like you with modeling, how long am I going to be at this job? Say it is making you money, but you want to exit. How much can I save per month?
Yep.
To exit this comfortably, along with like, when should I start the side hustle? And how long do I need to be doing the side hustle to then turn it into a form of income? Or how much capital do I need to invest into this side hustle? Because then that dictates how much I need to save from the main hustle I have now, and just create those actionable steps of like, okay, this is the end goal of what I want. Now let's work backwards and be like, okay, in order to get to that, I need to do this before that, and then I need to do this before that, and I need to do this before that, and just kind of create that plan out, like you were saying, Chad.
Yeah, and it's the same with saving money. It's you create that actionable, the actionable plan that's step by step to help you save money. That Lord knows, you know, who knows, you may be able to start an incredible side hustle with that savings that you're creating.
And one of the best things is knowing that you don't need to make a lot of money to save money. You need to be consistent with saving a little bit every day or every week, and just that little bit. And over time, you just put it away. And over time, it'll just start growing and growing and growing. And you just put it away and don't look at it. Don't touch it. That happened with Jess and I's retirement. We started a retirement account, like 5 years ago when we got married. And it's just like every month was just, okay, we put this much away every month. And then all of a sudden, it's like 5 years later, I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh. And with, the what the heck is the percentage that you get on, that you make back in your retirement account? What is that called?
Well, the percentage back, the compounding or
compounding, interest. Oh
the
my gosh.
eighth wonder of the world.
Oh my gosh, I had the biggest brain fart. I should not be on a podcast. Let me have this mic. Anyway, kidding. I bought it myself.
With that money that you saved.
Made an investment.
Buy my wife's brand deals.
That's right.
All right.
Happy birthday to me.
Have a partner that makes a lot of money.
Cash. Exactly.
Stacks.
What was I even saying? Anyway, over time, we were putting away in our retirement. And then all of a sudden, you look back 5 years later. If I look back a month later, it's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if I'm looking at,
it's not realistic.
At the little app every day, looking at the number, it doesn't
It's like going to the gym and then 30 minutes later looking in the mirror.
Yes,
and
exactly.
expecting results.
Yeah.
If you just put in that little bit every day, just that 1 more % a day, 1 more % a day, 1 more % a day, by the end of 100 days, just a little over 3 months, you will then be 100% better than when you started.
Wow.
Yo, what's up, guys? Thank you so much for watching this episode of Prompt Us. Make sure to go to promptuspodcast.com to submit your own prompts, and we will see you in the next one.